So out of everything in this report, in your opinion, what's the most actionable piece of data or information that's come out of here that, you know, if a sales leader would look through this, something they could do tomorrow that would improve their sales team?
I guess it depends on the customer situation, but
Yeah.
in broad terms, I would say most definitely to introduce a more scientific, data-driven approach to everything you do across your sales force. So be it performance evaluation, evidence-based assessment, looking at assessing your sales structure. Have we organised the business well enough? How is our sales leadership lining up? And to put some rigour around the capability of your sales leaders. Are your sales leaders just high performance salespeople?
Yeah.
Or do they have the skill to be able to lead and inspire and coach, which are key, you know, capabilities required for strong sales leadership? And of course then there's the sales force. So is moving away from that sort of old style assessment of your teams.
Sure.
We're just going on gut feel. They're a great
Let's talk
guy.
about your pipeline.
Really like him. He's
Yeah.
got a good network.
Yep.
Take a more rigorous scientific approach to your sales force. So identify, you know, what are those specific inputs that we can measure and assess to be able to better predict future performance. That would be the number one.
Okay.
And secondly, just taking that more trusted advisor approach, that customer-centric approach to selling. So it starts with the customer in mind, standing in their shoes, not just thinking about your customer, but thinking about your customer's customer.
Okay.
That is true client centricity. And so therefore, making it your business as a salesperson to continually update yourself on the industry trends, the challenges within that industry, the opportunities within that industry you're selling into.
That's the insights piece you were talking about before. So I assume that really comes with specialisation as well, in terms of you talking about structure of a sales force, to silo them into different industries to enable them to become that insights-driven trusted advisor, because they aren't a jack of all trades when it comes to industry. Yeah. They understand the customer and their typical needs before they walk in the door, and then can know the right questions to ask to get to the nub of the requirement, rather than sell based on the explicit requirement the customer says they have.
Absolutely. So true.
Yeah.
And another really key point for organisations too is don't leave it to the sales team to be able to come up with the insight.
Yeah.
Where organisations can really fast track success and really optimise the results of a sales team is where they work with finance and with marketing to serve up the insights to the team. You know, sales teams historically have been required, you know, it's been expected of them to be all things to all people.
Sure.
To be able to set up their own sales, you know, acquisition rhythm, to be able to, you know, learn the products, you know, very, very well, to understand the market forces at play, to be able to develop really strong value proposition messaging. These days we're seeing the organisations that are really getting ahead are the ones that are supporting the sales force appropriately and allowing the sales force to focus on what they can do, really what they do best, which is engage with the customer, you know, drive acquisition activities, engage with the customer and take that customer through their buying process in a really trusted advisor way.
Sure.
So if you
give
can give them the tools, absolutely. So as I said, serving up insight. A lot of our clients these days are working hard to bring that industry insight to the sales team and serve it up in such a way. So there's some playbooks, for instance, to be able to really, you know, here's some of the stuff that's going to allow you to have those insight-driven, you know, acumen-driven.
What allows them to differentiate, doesn't it? Because instead they may be going in with something that's simply just a different colour or 10% cheaper or better than the competition. But you're going to buy off people that can advise you on the best way to leverage that product, or to best manage your risk as it relates to the purchase of that product, and who can bring insights into what's going on in terms of best practice amongst their competition, or how other companies are best leveraging the product. Because at the end of the day, it's all about how they get the increased top line revenue or the return on investment in cost savings. And what have other companies been doing to better leverage your product or service? I think that's why they're likely to buy off I guess an enterprise salesperson these days, is they'll buy off the person that can help them better leverage the solution, rather than somebody who can just present it the slickest, if that makes sense.
Yeah. For sure. I think the most impact happens at the early stage of the buying cycle versus the latter part. And sometimes clients come to us and say, look, we really want some advice with the pitch or the closing process. Yep. Inevitably, it's not about the pitch or the closing process.
It's easy to close if you understand the needs, isn't it?
And we look under the hood and see what's actually going on within their sales process and their sales rhythm. It's just they're not getting the front end right. They're not asking the right questions. They're not understanding the customer situation well enough. They're not, bringing that industry insight to the customer at that early stage. If you get that right, the rest really is you should work in a close partnership and really differentiate and stand out in a crowded market.
Great. I was about to ask you where people can get their hands on this report before we finish up, but we'll put a link on the video.
Terrific.
To make it nice and easy for people, but it's the Synergy Group, thesynergygroup.com.au. There'll be a link on the video here. Catherine Edgar, thank you very much for your time today.
That's been my
and congratulations on your report and all the media coverage it's been getting.
Thank you so much. It's been lovely talking to you, Steve.
Thanks a lot.
Okay.
See you next time.
Yeah, see you.